Welcome to Together We Awaken, Finding Light in the Dark. This is episode 18. The earth has been speaking in wild ways, listening beyond the noise. I'm Allison Bruner, your soul sister, human guide, and rebirth midwife. There's a deep shift happening, not just inside of us, but in the earth as well. Storms have been relentless. Trees have been falling. Flash floods across multiple states in the US have been occurring, and internationally. There's been a lot of rain, and I'm not complaining. I'm only noticing. I haven't been able to plan a trip to the shore like I usually do every summer, because every time I check in with my intuition, I hear the same thing. Not now. It won't hold. It'll be a washout. And I'm always right. Even at the pool, every time we get in, it seems 9 times out of 10, a storm rolls in and we're told to get out. And I ask myself, what is all this water trying to wash away? Or what is it showing us? We could ask the same question about the earthquakes, volcanoes. And maybe you've felt it too, that strange, unsettled feeling that something is breaking loose, that what used to work no longer does, that the roles you've played, the relationships you've shown up for, the structures that held you, they're either dissolving or asking to be redefined. And it might look like exhaustion or grief or confusion. But beneath all of it is shedding. Recently, I was reading my Andean mystical healing cards. And in one particular, on one card in particular, or page, it spoke about the spirit of the serpent, Sach'amama, who sheds her skin when it's time. And what that card said resonated entirely with what we're moving through right now. So I want to give attribution. These are called Andean Healing Energy cards. And the writers are Eileen O'Hare, Joy Galinsky, and Seymour Hall. This is the card for Sach'amama. I don't know exactly what you see, but I'm trying to center this into the camera, but they're beautiful. I love them. It was a gift from a friend, Sarah. Thank you if you're watching. But the serpent does not resist change. She models it. She shows us how to let go of what no longer fits, even if it's what we've known. And maybe most importantly, she teaches us how to be patient in the uncertainty and unfamiliarity that comes when we are between skins, if you will. I'll read you a little bit from this page on Sach'amama. Sach'amama invites us to have patience when we cannot see what is coming next in our lives. She invites us to trust, to sit quietly in times of not knowing, rather than flailing in activity for activity's sake. This allows the universe the opportunity to deliver that which may be for our highest good, and yet beyond our comprehension at that time. Shedding what no longer serves us can be painful. Like the serpent, we may need to find ourselves between the proverbial rock and a hard place in order to get the job done. We may have gotten used to old rules and old rules that keep us feeling tight. We may feel uncomfortably comfortable in outgrown relationships, jobs, or ways of being. And yet, remaining the same in order to avoid the responsibility and the challenge of change can strangle or smother our best selves. Change is inevitable. The serpent teaches us to accept change continually, gracefully, gratefully, to allow for the constant shifting and changing that is the essence of life. Everything that lives and breathes changes in every moment. We are infinitely connected to the constantly shifting energies all around us. When we insist on staying with the same, we can develop symptoms that reflect our being stuck, including disease. And I'll get to that in another episode. Reminds me, there's this man that is often at the pool when I'm there, and he was on vacation for 2 weeks and just relishing in it, so happy. But as it was coming to a close, he was so down in his final days of his vacation, which was such a shame. He couldn't really enjoy those last days because he was dreading going back to work, and says that each day he's at work, he just can't wait for it to end. And I could see what's to come for him. He's at a crossroads. So the his soul is sending him information through this intense discomfort around his job. It's time to do something different. And I know that for his age, where he is in the game, he's holding out for another 10 years for when he retires. But he's miserable. And I suppose I sense that the desire to change and have something that would bring him more joy is terrifying, because he'd have to leave behind what's known. The idea that we stay in the same job even when we're miserable, so we can collect, what the perks that come with that financially. I can see that his soul is slowly waking him up. So eventually it's going to become even more uncomfortable to stay where he is. Might even lose the job. Like, if he doesn't see it and get it and make changes on his own, his soul is going to create a scenario where that job is ripped away. So if you're finding these sorts of things happening to you, like in relationships and home and elsewhere, your soul is conspiring in your favor to bring to you what's more aligned. And Sach'amama, she exemplifies patience, sitting quietly in blindness while shedding her skin before the new skin is complete. We are in a collective season of shedding without clarity, shedding without replacement, shedding not because we planned it or even wanted it, but because the soul said it's time. And it's not just us. The earth is doing it too. I believe the wild weather is it's more than climate data. I believe the earth is speaking in wild ways. She's not punishing us. She's not frightening us. She's purging, just as we are. She's resetting and realigning. And because we're not separate from her, we feel it in our bodies. We feel the grief of the trees, or I should say I do. We feel the overwhelm of too much water or emotions. We feel the pressure of energy that wants to move very quickly. So quickly we can feel out of control, like we're drowning, like we cannot hold on to the shore any longer, nor should we. And maybe what we're being invited to is to let go, to stop plugging the leaks, to stop trying to build dams, to stop fixing what isn't meant to be fixed anymore, to open our arms wide and look up to the sky and let the current take us, to relax into the earth and be present with her and with ourselves and see where we're being taken. And we're invited to sit like the serpent, like Sach'amama, in the space between skins, to trust that what we're shedding, even if it's roles, identities, relationships, or homes, is a sacred death. And right now, so many of us are dying to who we were As I alluded to last episode when talking about the softening and even dissolution of some of the ways we knew ourselves and coped with childhood wounds. And that process deserves to be witnessed. We witness our own and others, and we witness the earth's as she witnesses ours. Life, this version of it, this body, this chapter is just one page in an eternal story. And the people we walk with, the ones we love and struggle with and feel bound to, they're co-stars in a play that we chose to enter together. That parent who belittled you for the entirety of your youth and refuses to change agreed at a soul level to engage with you in this life in that way so that perhaps you could wake up one day to your worth and decide, no more. I deserve better. I set a boundary. And if they cannot honor it, I walk away and choose choose family that treats me lovingly, or that friend who keeps standing me up made a similar agreement so that I'd stop letting people walk all over me, so that I would advocate for the value of my time and commit to myself rather than to someone who cannot commit to me. Or that spiritual guide who thought that they knew what was best for me, who negated my own inner wisdom and played the guru for far too long. Perhaps they were in my life to help me learn to trust my inner knowing. These stories served us for the hero's journeys we have been on. And now it's time to awaken and realize we are not those roles we've played. We're not the one who is taken advantage of, or overlooked, or undervalued, or dismissed. We are not that. Right now, many of us are being asked to put down the roles that we've long outgrown. The role of caretaker, savior, the one who keeps the peace, the one who always gives more than they receive, the one who holds it all together, the one who can't survive without another. These roles may have helped us get along, fit in somehow, gave us meaning and purpose to a degree, helped us know ourselves. They may have served a real purpose for a season, but now their skins were no longer meant to wear. Sach'amama says it's time to shed. It's time to purge the wounds, the limiting beliefs, all of which has held those roles in place. It's time to throw those hole-filled shirts in the garbage and go to Target or the consignment shop and get more. And just like the serpent doesn't rush the shedding, we're not meant to rush this process either. There can be grief in letting go of a role, even if it was hurting us. There can be disorientation and not knowing what will take its place. You might feel like, if I'm not the one who fixes everything, then who am I? If I stop overgiving, will I be loved? If I stop performing, will I be safe? If I stop swallowing my truth to keep the peace, will I be accepted? And yet, this is the very space where your true self begins to reemerge. Not the one shaped by duty, family dynamics, or spiritual duty even. The one beneath all that. The part of you that doesn't need a title to be worthy. The part of you that belongs simply because you are. So what do you do when you're not who you used to be, but you're not quite who you're becoming? This is the question I've been sitting with, and I know many of you are sitting with it too. The old roles are dissolving, the structures are shaking, and the skin is peeling. And you know what? As I'm talking to you right now, I just had this thought, or I hadn't planned on going here, but I'm getting that the earth too is in the in between. She's in the becoming. These earth changes where land masses are being covered in water, maybe never to reemerge, and others are drying out and emerging from what had been rivers and creeks. She is shedding the role, too, of caretaker, the one who gives and gives while others take and take from her, the one who keeps showing up for us while we don't even acknowledge her, the one who loves unconditionally and is now rising up and loving herself. Again, she isn't punishing anyone. Just as we're not punishing the people that we're walking away from because we realize our dynamic with them isn't healthy. And she, Mother Earth, is not walking away from us either, but she's shifting into a planet that looks and feels different, who requires those who live upon her to be in right relationship with her and each other. She's shedding her old skin. She too has been inundated with heavy emotions that include ours, and these floods are a release. The winds cleanse the excessive thinking and erratic energy and bring in the new. And the fires purify, just as we are all going through purification. The souls who shed their physical bodies and pass from their human experience into the spirit realm are not being punished by the earth, nor the wind, or the waters, or the fires, not the sun. They've only chosen the natural disasters as their exit point. God bless them. And bless those who are missing them. In fact, you might be interested in knowing that the soul leaves the body before the impact of physical trauma. This I know from many years as a somatic therapist who has worked with people who've been through physical trauma. They dissociated from their bodies. They left their bodies. And that's not a psychological flaw. That's self-love. That's how the soul delivers us from excruciating experience. And if they've lived through it, they've come to therapy to get back into their bodies and release the trauma from their energy field. In shamanism, it's called soul loss because the soul has jumped from the body to lovingly prevent the human from experiencing such extreme suffering. The shaman then brings the soul part back into the body in a practice called soul retrieval. And in some cases, the soul leaves, never to return to the physical body. There's more to come with the earth and her shedding and purification process. But we don't have to be afraid. We are never alone in any of this. We're being supported through it. Love is holding us. And we're all doing this together, and our guides are surrounding us and letting us know when to turn left when there is disaster to our right, or vice versa. Or we'll be close by others who are part of a disaster so that we can show them love and compassion and support. Or we may experience loss that catalyzes our growth and awakening. But we're never, ever alone, and there is always someone to reach out to, whether they are in a human body or in spirit. So here we all are, in between, shedding, releasing, purifying. We can't rush this experience as much as I've wanted to lately. We can't force clarity or change. But here's what we can do. We can anchor into what's real. And for most of us right now, what's real is not in the mind. It's not in the news or the narratives. It's in the body. It's in the earth. It's in the simple act of waking up, breathing into our bellies, placing our bare feet on the ground and saying, I don't know who I'm becoming, but I know that I am one droplet of the divine. I am divine. I am. Here on my beautiful feet that carry me in this beautiful creek, the I am that I am is walking in this creek. I notice the bird song and I rest in the peace of that. That bird is the I am, soothing me. We're both droplets of the divine. Together we are the divine. The space between skins, the one we've shed and the one we're growing from within, is not empty. It's fertile ground. It's where vision is seeded and truth is remembered. It's where our soul's voice begins to get louder, but it can feel foggy and heavy and quiet and lonely. I know. You may not feel inspired. You may not feel like showing up for others or showing up much at all. You may not want to make decisions or post on social media or create. That is a sign that you are in this period of being rewoven. Like the earth right now, you're purging. Like the serpent, you're softening out of the skin that held you. Like the polar fields, north and the north and south pole, which I forgot to talk about. Your energetic axis is shifting. I'll just say indigenous people have been saying that the earth's poles are continuing to shift little by little over the past several years, and so are ours. No wonder we feel upside down. So what do we do when we're in such unfamiliar territory, shedding the old but not quite stepping into the new? What do you do? I'd love to hear your ideas in the comments, and I'll share my ideas here. What I've been doing is slowing down. I'm listening a lot rather than busying myself. I'm going into states of inquiry, asking questions and then allowing the space to receive the downloads, the answers. And sometimes they come in pictures, or other times in knowings, and other times in words that are not audible most times, but are like soundless voices. I spend more time in dreamy states, floating in water, putting my feet in creeks, sitting in dirt or on grass, lying on my back and looking at treetops or stars. I let myself dream of what I'd like my life to look like if I stopped believing it was impossible. I get honest with myself about what's not working. And if I let go of what's not working, what then could be instead? I grieve what's leaving. I scan my body and I notice where I'm feeling tension, emotion, holding, and bring my heart and my awareness to it and breathe and feel all the way into until there's a release. I bless what has come before and what is to come. I trust that what's coming is more aligned for me. And I give thanks even when I don't know what for, even on days that are more acute with the growing pains. What has been working for you? There's this cute little image that's coming to me now as I'm sharing, and it's of a baby chick cracking through its shell. We are the baby chick, shedding and stepping out of an old and limiting matrix. There's a new human, a new us being born, but we're tiny, vulnerable, shouldn't be doing a lot. We're new and we're perfect. We need to stay in our nests and we need to receive nourishment and love. Can we give ourselves that? Can we be gentle with ourselves until the day we're shown by our great mother, the great chicken, that it's time to step out and start a new adventure? In the past few months, I've let go of more roles than I can count, both outwardly and inwardly. Roles in relationships and in my work, roles that I didn't even know I was still carrying. And with that shedding has come grief. I smile now, but there's been a lot of grief. Watery, stormy, full body, soul level grief. So much has ended. And what's helped me through it, what continues to help me, is coming back to what's simple, like my yoga and breathwork practices, my relationship with nature and qigong. But when the emotions are strong, when the grief gets caught because my Gemini mind is trying to protect me, I don't feel well. So I go back to a practice that some of you might remember that I used to offer when I was a therapist, EFT tapping, or the emotional freedom technique. I'd let that tool fall by the wayside when I stepped away from therapy. But in a rather painful pinch some weeks ago, I picked it back up for myself. Because if I hold emotions down or keep working or moving forward without tending to them, a funny thing happens. One of my cats starts to cry very loud and very hard. She's quite the empath. She's my mirror. And her crying is persistent and upsetting if left to continue. She was checked for medical issues, nothing. But when I start tapping and have an emotional release, tapping on my acupressure points, she stops crying immediately. Crazy, right? She becomes peaceful as I am emoting and then goes to sleep. Another tragedy befell my family recently, and I had to go through all of this again. And I realized I needed to remind those who have worked with me in the past that this tool is still available and works. It works incredibly well. And if you do it long enough, you can even tap into your higher wisdom. You see things differently from a higher perspective. And it's helpful isn't quite the word. It's comforting to be able to access that wisdom. So I've decided to put the 90-minute course I created on EFT back on my website where it belongs, AlisonBruner.com. Hopefully, by the time this video comes out, it'll be up. It should be up. If it's not, just contact me through my website, and I'll send you a link to sign up for it. Since I stopped taking one-on-one clients weeks ago, I've had some former clients reach out for individual sessions, and I couldn't work with them. So I directed them to the EFT course, and it's doing for them what I had created it for, helping them to become their own healers, which is something I'm very passionate about. I'm stepping more into that role of teacher and guide and showing people how to heal themselves through their presence and self-compassion, and through connecting to the higher realms and by calling back to themselves the parts that have been hidden or cast away. You might have noticed if you've peeked recently that, my website is undergoing changes and services are being added rather quickly. There's more to come, but for now I want to just welcome you to my community as a free member And you'll receive monthly guidance, answers to questions I invite you to submit about your healing or awakening journey, discounts, and invitations to free events. And if you're already signed up for my newsletter or if you signed up this year, you resubscribed, then you're already a member. You'll be getting an announcement about that soon. But just as all else is evolving, my offerings are shifting. My website is shifting. I'm shifting. Until next time, I hope that you'll be gentle with your becoming, because none of us is lost. We're just in between skins.